rise. True north, strong and free. Dum dum dum, oh, far and wide. Okay, welcome. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Canada Day show. Nice to see everybody. My name is Dean, and we've got the full complement today. It is Canada Day here in our beautiful country. Please welcome to the program Ryan Lindley from the Sheeple Shepherd podcast. At Ryan Lindley on Twitter is where you can find him. My friend Sheep King JB, we're just going to call him JB, but on TikTok he's known as Sheep King JB. You can find him at Sheep King JB on Twitter as well. And he's a beauty, so he's in today as well. We're really excited for Sheep King's performance. And of course, it's just one of my heroes, and it goes without saying, not only is she an intrepid reporter, but apparently the freedom fighters are just giving her bags of weed. Please welcome Miss Karima Saad, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Live in Ottawa. We're back. We're here. Canada Day Convoy continues to fizzle out and become basically an embarrassment to the people who put it on. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. They're getting nowhere fast. OPS is all over it. We've got a real Canada Day celebration. The Prime Minister of this country makes an appearance in a bulletproof vest with his family. We've got lots to get to. Anyway, welcome. Glad to see everybody today. Now, before we get started, Karima, you are holed up in a hotel, correct? You've done a bunch of work. We're going to get to some of that in just a second. How you feeling? How is this Canada Day vibe compared to ones you've been to in the past? You've been to Ottawa, used to live there, went to school there. And how is this convoy compared to the last convoy that came through Ottawa?
So first things first, I'm
Yes.
well. Thank you for
Good.
asking. And, you know, this Canada Day compared to previous ones, obviously we have the pandemic as an intervening factor. And even prior to that, I haven't lived in Ottawa for 8-9 years. But it's very securitized and lots of cops around, lots of gates, lots of fencing, which, you know, it has never really been my experience. One of the things I value so much about my time in Ottawa is that you could just get places and, you know, it was welcoming. And that vibe has shifted, understandably, based on kind of what happened in the occupation. Although, as I've said, there's an irony that the Freedom Crew ultimately has ushered in a police state for Canada Day. Yeah. Compared to the occupation, though, like the demonstrations that I've seen, like there is no comparison. I don't think that, you know, much will come of this weekend. I think we saw the apex with the march ending at the National War Memorial yesterday.
Yeah, and I want to get to that because we got lots to get to. Karima's in Ottawa. We're here in the city. JB took this on last night on his TikTok account as well, and it's something that JB's been following. And if you follow JB on TikTok or Twitter, I think we're pretty aligned on this. Is that, like, listen, these are Canada's dumbest, drunkest people being activated by Canada's wealthiest conservatives to go and do bad shit. Right now, what we've learned about the bad shit they did last time, JB, has kind of led to the fact that we haven't seen anything major happen yet. But the War Memorial thing really pissed us off. And I want to get to the James Top video real quick before we get to the War Memorial stuff, because it's fascinating. And by the way, just so everybody knows, everything is going swimmingly in Le Breton, like the flats where they're actually holding Canada Day celebrations. People are celebrating. The Prime Minister's come out to say hi to everybody. People are laughing, having a great time. And this convoy really is kind of interspersed, as far as I understand. There's little things that are happening in different places, but zero traction. Like no traction whatsoever. But this was the main event, and it was yesterday, and JB, we'll get your thoughts on it. This is James Top arriving at the War Memorial, which was really the whole point. I think this is why people showed up. This was the rallying cry. This was the Fugazi thing they cooked up to try to get everybody to pay attention to something which was bullshit. I give James Top credit. Dude walked from fucking Vancouver, and he ended up in Ottawa yesterday. Right on time, by the way. He's like right fucking on time. It was incredible, the timing. But I want you to watch very carefully, because this little thing that started as, just this dude marching against mandates in the army, he's up against, I think he's been court-martialed as well for delivering a bunch of statements in his uniform gear, like anti-vax, New World Order shit, in his military uniform. So James Top, this is him arriving, and we'll get to it in just a second.
back up out of the way. You can still back up out of the way. You gotta respect what's going on.
Hey, don't touch him.
Stay back. You guys have to get out of the way. Don't go over
Dean, could you turn the brightness down a little bit? It was a little white for me.
That was the worst redub of Forrest Gump I've ever seen in my life.
You see these guys, JB, what do you think? That's Paul Alexander, by the way. He was in the Trump administration, and his whole plan to fight COVID was to make sure everybody got infected. This guy's such a fucking loser, and he just gloms onto anything that's anti-vax. Anyway, JB, you had a major problem with this because you've got some war history in your family, right? I mean, you've got people that actually pay attention to this shit.
So my grandfather, rest his soul, served in the Air Force and was a prominent part of the peacekeeping efforts in Germany post World War II. And he always said to me, because I lived in Ottawa, I've been to Ottawa with him. He used to go to the War Memorial every Remembrance Day, and he used to take me with him as a young child. And he always said to me that this is our one symbol in Canada that is meant for our people that served our country. To see the War Memorial turned into something for a political stunt like this is just disgusting to me. I hate it. I hate seeing it. It's not what the War Memorial is for. I respect what James Topp did for our country and service that he did, but in the end of this is a political stunt. He's upset that he didn't want to get a knee, and he across the country. Like to Dean said, I wouldn't be able to do that. At the same time, the purpose of it was derived from this self kind of approach to approach to life. He was a military member. He served our country, and when you serve in the military, what my grandfather always told me was that you serve the country. Mm-hmm. You're here to do what his mission is, right, and not what Canada stands for. This temper tantrum of walking, like imagine losing your job and then saying, I'm mad across the country. Like everybody would laugh in your face if you did that. Mm-hmm. And this is what he did. And it's reminiscent to anybody who studied history just even a little bit. And I said this to Dean earlier in private, take that video, take the Canadian flags out, put it in black and white and remove the audio. And I would have said that was in the 1920s. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. It's not what the War Memorial is for, in my opinion. If you want to do that outside Parliament, go for it, but not at the War Memorial. That's
yeah.
You know what? I get such a kick out of these guys too, Karima. I get a kick out of these guys who deputize themselves, like
the security, sort of the fake security that they set up for themselves, whether it's Romana Didulo, the Queen of Canada, or this guy, like. Those are the most intense of all the freedom fighters, the ones who believe they have a role in protecting the influencer that they happen to be in the orbit of.
Like I walk into the Eden Center and I don't get that kind of protection. All over James Topp. What the hell is this? Like, come on.
It's like back in February when they had when they deputized themselves and they had the fake swearing ceremony for deputies to be police officers. Remember that?
Remember that? Yeah. Yeah, they had the big swearing in thing.
But it tracks with the whole kind of, there's the militarization and this obsession with military and police and respect for police, and that's kind of, even while they are actively breaking laws and disparaging cops.
Yeah.
So just the contradictions. And how police, are, I wouldn't say friends of freedom, if you value sort of civil liberties and that kind of thing. Just none of it makes sense.
Speaking of friends of civil liberties, now JB, if you follow him on TikTok, he's one of these guys, and what he does is he likes to take videos and he likes to take the things that people do. JB, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to speak out of turn, but this is what you do on TikTok: is you do kind of what we do, but you do it in a really sharp, quick version where you take videos that people produce, and then you like to insert some common sense, maybe some legality, maybe some past precedent, and you walk people through what happens. Yeah, I know you do.
I pick inanimate objects that I find in my room and call them that because I think that's funny. But
yeah,
and it works.
But
no,
go ahead.
No, I always was somebody that did that. Like I would be, that I find on like, look at this clown, and I would break it down and I just finally started putting a camera on my face and doing that. And then top it off with my, podcasting and the way to edit videos and understand algorithms and how things go out. It's turned into this thing that I do. And then when these incidents happen, and the best part is I'm at the point now where people send me videos.
Yeah.
Like I just get sent stuff and I'm like, I don't have to do anything. I just wait for the inevitable. Like, there we go. Sitting on that couch, usually with just a shirt on, not wearing pants, being like, hey, you're dumb. Here's the 10 million reasons why this is dumb. And then I edit it and people find it funny.
Yeah, I do too. And dude, it's you're accurate. Like some of the stuff that you've done over the past little while has been absolutely bangarang, and you have the ability to actually insert, like I said, common sense or like facts, like which is weird, right? This is a crew that not a big fan of facts, right? And one of the things that happened yesterday is, and listen, Karima's not going to like this because she knows this guy, is this dude named Donald Smith tried to get into Parliament. Now you actually went at this video and produced it again. Follow at SheepKingJB on TikTok is where you can see this video and you can see his comments about it. But I'm going to play you the raw video. This is the quality of individual. And listen, does Donald have a specific set of circumstances he's dealing with? I don't know, but I mean, this is the ideology, or this is the thinking, the brain power that a lot of these guys seem to come into these protests with, where they'll be like, hey, listen, I'm allowed to do this, and this is they go to the taxpayer dollar shit. Let me play for this. This is fucking unbelievable. This is Donald Smith literally trying to get into Parliament, and they're like, hey, can we check your bag? And that's when the fun starts. And it's not just fun. It's like maddening fun, because when you watch it, you're like, what part of this does this guy not understand, right? Watch this.
How's it going today? You're not searching me.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go through your bag.
No, you're not. This is Canada. This is Canada.
You're not gonna be able to get on here.
Why? I want to walk on, man. You're not searching my bag. This is Canada.
What's that?
I'm not being searched. Do you have probable cause to walk on this ground? No, you don't. I want to walk on. I got my laptop. I got everything.
For the events for today, we have certain restrictions in place.
Can you show me that policy, please? Can you show me that law where you can just basically walk up to people and start searching people?
Yeah, it's on the parliamentary use of the hill. You can find that online.
Are we in Canada? Are we in Canada? What country am I in? So basically, I can't walk on my tax-funded hill without being
You
searched.
absolutely can, but we're gonna have to search your bag before you do that.
You have to have probable cause.
Sir, these are the rules for the ongoing events that are going on. Next
You have
few years.
probable cause.
Then you can do that on Logan Street.
Supervisor.
Yep.
You guys want to get sued? I would love to sue you guys if you guys do anything to me. So basically, you're gonna start searching people.
Yes, we are.
Are you gonna start patting people down? So do you want me stripped down naked or something like that?
We're only searching your bag. That's all we're searching. That's it.
You're not searching my bag. Fuck that. Yeah, you too. Touch my stuff. I'm
Touch my stuff. Touch. Sorry, Karima. I know you know him. I know you've tried to help him, and I know your humanity says you can't laugh at that kind of stuff. But in a broader stroke, I mean, this is traditionally what almost every single one of the extremists do, right? They're like, I know the law, you don't, you're nothing but a cop, I got the right to be here, you can't search my bag. And that was Parliament Hill. He was allowed to go onto Parliament Hill. They just needed to make sure he didn't have any weapons in his bag. And he's like, no, fuck you. And by the way, if you try and search me, I'm going to cut you. Like, or
he didn't
something.
say that. He said the video cut before we heard what he was planning to cut.
Okay,
right?
sorry.
There's all sorts of things that could be cut.
My favorite is when it's supervisor, like he's talking to a rod.
Yeah, like a
voice to his cell phone bill.
Operator.
Supervisor.
On the phone with
Op
the
supervisor. Help.
So I mean, it's definitely true that in the past there haven't been searches, at least that I'm aware of, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it changed after the murder of
Nathan Cirillo.
yeah. So I was here for that, and then I don't know that I spent many Canada days after. So I'm not sure how, like, if this is a brand new protocol or not. Typically, you know, access is freely granted to Parliament Hill. But to your point, Dean, there are two things that I think are takeaways that are applicable to the broader movement. One is misunderstanding or misapprehension about the law. And, you know, the adage, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. There were, you know, that I think bears out in a lot of interactions that various freedom fighters have with law enforcement. And the second is difficulties balancing individual rights versus what's good for the collective, and alongside an aversion to rules, basically, that, you know, aren't necessarily passed democratically, right? Like, there are policies that just, and that's not to say that they can't be challenged, but there are ways and sort of strategies that are more effective than others in doing that. And what we saw was ultimately ineffective. And I think Donald would agree.
Yeah, that's nice that he would agree.
Sure.
He went ham after that too. JB, did you talk to him yesterday? He's an interesting cat. Did you talk to him yesterday? And how did you summarize this video on your TikTok channel?
So I've never talked to Donald directly. I got
Yeah.
sent the video from somebody else who follows me, like, hey, you might like this. And I was like, I do like this.
I fucking love it.
So I saw it, and I kind of deep dived into his channel, and I found a bunch of stuff that is just great, because I never knew this person before, right? He hasn't been on my radar, so I never met him and I've never talked to him. But obviously, you know, I got these two videos, which I thought were hilarious, and I'm going to be making a second one, which probably you're going to show in a minute. But it's for me, like, I understand that, you know, everybody is different and everybody has different views, but, you know, just as much as he's allowed to go up on this, you know, and he went cameras recording, which is a big red flag for me. Like, he walked up already with his cameras rolling, expecting an issue, right? It's not like he started recording halfway through. It's just, you know, this isn't a new concept, right? I see the comments here. It's like, I go to baseball games all the time. I'm going to the baseball game tomorrow. I'm bringing a backpack. It's going to get searched. Like, it's not that new of a concept. Like, it's been a thing ever since I've been around. And I've been to Canada Day in Ottawa and gone to Parliament Hill closer to the stage and have my bag searched. So, I mean, it's not new, at least not new-ish, right? No. So, like, and also from a patriotic and from a personal, like, a governmental protection point, I kind of hope on a day where there's a lot of demonstrations going on with potentially people that might want to cause some issues, that they are checking and keeping our Parliament buildings safe.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just victim content creation is all it is. And it gets clicks and it gets outrage and shock and awe. This is Pierre Poilievre's wet dream is what we're seeing procure on Twitter
I don't
and
want to see
TikTok.
That. I do.
Unfortunately, that's what we're seeing with these things. So, because as you said, like, even Pierre's video yesterday, that killed me. Did you notice they didn't even start walking? Like, they hit record and they all looked at each other. Okay, let's go now. And then they started walking together. It was like,
my favorite is that he
Your favorite?
Sorry?
What?
He walked for a kilometer and then got in a Toyota and drove away.
under Pyro Bob's banner.
Yeah.
Peace out, folks.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the photo op. Goodbye.
That's what he was there for. Like, you covered that, right, Karima? Like, isn't that technically what happened? Like, you walked 4 blocks and split. That was it.
Yeah, that was my footage. And indeed, he did a few blocks, you know, and I have pictures of his shoes, actually. So they were in between dress shoes and like running shoes, like they're like fancy sneakers.
Yeah.
Maxime Bernier was there in like full walking gear, jogging away. So I don't know which is worse, actually.
Which is worse in terms of like the photo op or Maxime Bernier showing up in skin tight running gear with his snake and eggs hanging
That had
out?
that had its own issues. That's correct. But I mean, the photo op sort of is a level of cynicism, right?
Yeah.
But then sticking through for the entirety of the thing is something.
That's a power move there, in my
Mm.
opinion. You're doubling. It's not just doubling down at that point. You're staying at the table till you run out of money at that point.
That's it.
Like it's.
You're
No,
pot committed. Yeah.
I just love that you said that Pierre brought, acceptable shoes. So he went to the strip mall in Canada for the first time in his life and bought a pair of shoes for $13 and probably complained about how high the price was of it because
Yeah.
of Justin for some reason. But
Just inflation.
And he's in the middle of all this. Like, keep in mind, like, we played you the James Top showing up, Paul Alexander, the guy who thought he was, Tom Cruise from fucking Mission Impossible, stay out of the way. You saw that whole thing, like the culmination of the walk to the cenotaph, and then it wasn't like it's not like yesterday that was it. Right? It wasn't like, oh, listen, James Top just showed up and he did this big walk. Things got fucking dicey yesterday. 4 people were arrested last night. And I'm going to play the video of what happened. This is shortly after everybody started to leave the cenotaph when James Top showed up. And he's like, look at me. Everybody look at him. He's like, doesn't want to get vaccinated. It's a terrible thing. It's just a fucking needle, you dummy. Anyway. Yeah, but this is literally what happened. And I want you to pay very special close attention. This is the video of the fight where Ottawa police actually had to come to the aid of what I believe to be a military police officer that was stationed at the cenotaph, as a lot of military officers have been after the death of Nathan Cirillo, if I'm getting that right. And you saw a freedom fighter, and we'll show you the video, and then we've got a picture of it. And literally choke out, turn around and choke out a female MP. Here's the video. Watch it. It's fucked. You can see him on the left, the right. There you go. There's the woman. You see her get grabbed from behind. There she is. She's getting grabbed from behind here. They've got her in a choke hold, and they've got her down on the ground. And there you go. Full Nelson. There you go. Right there. Then it happens. And the fucking great part about this is, like, there are cops everywhere. Look at the white vans pull up. Watch these guys stream out to kick some ass, and then watch closer to the screen on the left what happens. There we go. And everybody with their phones, just trying to get a picture. It's fucking hilarious.
At least they're staying out of the way.
Yeah. This is not like the last convoy. These cops are not fucking around. And
not at all.
If you want to touch someone in uniform, that will bring everybody together. There are a lot of police officers prior to this convoy who probably had a lot of sympathy for the people that were there, because none of those guys wanted to get the jab. A lot of those people have elitist issues, right? But listen, that was a fucking bad deal for convoyers in a good way, and I'll explain why. Is if you want to piss off all the cops, if you want a solidarity with every police officer in that city, no matter the region that they're from, attack a man or woman in uniform, which is what happened yesterday, right?
Good luck.
That was the comeuppance, and it brought everybody together to the point where, and this is JB's picture. JB, this is the woman, if I'm not mistaken, here on the right. Is that
I
correct?
screened around this from another angle of a video that was sent to me of the particular incident where the cop is being we should say alleged to be choked on the right there. From an individual, I'm assuming who supports this movement, right? We can't make assumptions either way. But in the end of the day, the evidence is clear. Like that cop or that officer, or whatever she is clearly, not in the control of that situation, right? She's being,
she's being controlled.
So, and it doesn't surprise me that the level of response by police was there. I know I said this to Dean earlier today. I have a family member who's in law enforcement in Ottawa, and he tells me all the time, there's cops in that city where you don't even think there's cops. Like, it just takes one radio call, and you saw literal vans of police officers can show up like that. It's not, and that's the case every time. Like, that's not just the case with what's going on right now. That's the case like most times in the city, and that's why, when the Freedom Convoy happened in the winter, I was surprised with the lack of police response, right? Because knowing that, it's a heavy police city. given the nature of the city, right?
Mhm.
So it's but you can just see it. Like there's the two vans coming from down Wellington there.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom, right?
Yeah, nothing's faster than a Motorola walkie-talkie.
Right.
You know?
But and then that's the clown car of cops that come out, right? Like it's just
just a flood.
yeah.
Karima, you stand against police state. One of the things I respect about you a great deal is you're able to look at stuff like this from two sides, not just the angry citizen side, which is where I come at it from. It's like, now, why are you touching that woman? Why would you hurt another human being? And then you see more hurt and you see the police say, but what do you make of this? What do you make of the response in this situation and in general? Because it really seems like this response is responsible for Canada Day being allowed to go on and for other people being allowed to celebrate. But it's also, you're seeing some pretty gnarly shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not one to ever really celebrate the use of state force against citizens. There are times where it's unavoidable. At least in sort of our current setup and context, right? So I don't know what led to, what looks like the officer in the chokehold. I have no clue how that came about, but absolutely the swift response and the decisiveness of the response sends a strong signal, and the aftermath of the convoy occupation, like that's ongoing and still kind of a PR issue that Ottawa police need to deal with. So I'm not surprised that the response is what we see here. I mean,
justified though. Like, when you look at this, is it justified according to what you've seen?
So I assume it's the same guy who's being sort of tossed around there. I can't tell if he was the one who had the officer in the chokehold. I'm not entirely sure that it is because I thought the other guy had like a helmet or something.
Yeah, he had like a vest on. He had a very jaunty hipster looking vest and a stupid toque on.
Yeah. So I mean,
there.
Proportionate force, right? Like that's kind of a principle that's relevant, but police have a ton of discretion, especially where their own sort of safety is at risk. A lot of discretion. So when these charges make their way through the system, there might be arguments about use of force and whether it was appropriate and so on and so forth. But I'm not. It's not particularly brutal, which is weird to say, but
for you, yeah,
it's because it's not a
it is.
left-wing protest. That's why.
Yeah, it's not right. So like, it's still, I think that it's defensible, at least kind of based on what we know so far. But still unfortunate to see. And I will say that. Having followed the march from Canada to downtown, they were pretty strict and disciplined on like formation and also on messaging. So I am aware that they tried really hard to stop kind of any physical aggression or even engaging negatively with counter protesters. Like those were some of the directives that were issued
from the convoy.
Yeah, well, from the James Top sort of camp, because I think he recognizes what a disaster it is and how bad it looks, right? Like just the optics of how they normally behave. So that's like, I would be remiss not to point that out, although this is still who is attracted by the movement, and all causes attract all sorts of personalities. But we see patterns emerge, right? With willingness to engage in verbal, physical confrontation, accosting, just an inability to recognize lines and when you have crossed them. And the attempt at discipline, it wasn't far-reaching enough to prevent this from happening, which I'm sure they are very upset about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the people of Ottawa are upset too. Like, I have a friend who lives, right across the street from City Hall, and he's been preparing for this for a whole week. He had cops knock on his door, basically saying, "Hey," because he's in the exclusion zone thing, right? And he had to provide his license plate number, he had to provide his car, he had to provide the dates and times that he plans on leaving to go to work, or for whatever reason, and he's tired of it. He's like, I don't want to do, like, I shouldn't have to do this. It's like, I understand it's Canada Day, and Canada Day is always a mess down there, and all that stuff, but like, he's never had to do that in his life, right?
Yeah, quite the freedom they're providing him being there.
Yeah, like, now he's free to come and go because he lives in the area, right? But he's frustrated, and I think the police understand that. Now he's a raging leftist like me, so he's like, fuck this, right? But it's but I think Ottawa is upset with the way the police handled it in the winter, and I think this is the response that they're giving to try to say, hey, see, we can do things that you want us to do. Look at our white vans filled with cops, right? Like, it's a PR thing as much as it is an actual response thing, right?
Yeah, it looks good. Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, they are not fucking around. They since 8 o'clock, I'm just reading here, on June 29th, officers have issued 234 parking tickets and towed 59 vehicles located in the vehicle control zone that was in place for Canada Day events. So if you remember the convoy, they let those vehicles sit there for weeks on end. Yeah. They didn't get 24 hours in that zone this time, and they said, you're out of here. And they hooked them and booked them. That was it.
What's changed? What's changed? Because you remember, like, a few months ago, the tow truck companies, Karima, were like, we're not helping you guys because we don't want to be doxxed, and we don't want hateful phone calls, and we don't want someone killing a review rating on Google, or we've been threatened. But, like, what's changed? Has this thing been unmasked? Is it the police response that you see that's different? Like, what is the major difference from the last one to this one?
Well, with the last one, I think social media played a part in kind of people arriving at, mainstream media, even before they landed, was kind of repeating this narrative of empty grocery store shelves, angry truckers, the truckers are coming. So there was this hype that was built up. And when they actually landed and police allowed the trucks in and told them where to park, and they settled, and then it was a party, right? And it was festive and fun, and you had people coming from just across the border in Quebec, and more people online saw that and were like, oh, well, we want to go. And then the Monday, they just didn't leave. So now there's an attraction, and it kind of snowballed from there, and became really hard to displace, right? So that was a very unique, I think, set of circumstances, and the order and sequence of events that I don't know that we'll see repeated. I don't actually think that much has changed apart from police being more proactive, with blocking Wellington, and obviously being responsive. They always had these tools available in their toolkit, though, right? So why weren't more tickets issued back in the winter? That's a very good question, and I don't have the answer to that. But the reason I'm always wary about, celebrating these kinds of videos, even though there is some gratification in seeing someone get their comeuppance, especially if, we don't see justice being delivered in other ways. So, right? Like, I get that sense, but I think that it's very dangerous to indulge vengeance, which is sort of what this is, because it's not like, that's the underlying sentiment. And it's dangerous for police to be responding, my perception is that they're responding to, the angry mob that was mad at how things were handled last time. And that's not to say that the angry mob is wrong, but the angry mob also isn't due process. So like that, I don't know, there's a very thin and fragile line of law and order and democracy. And those lines are being blurred. And I think that the precedent that this sets is just something we need to think seriously about, and not just cheer on sort of skulls getting cracked because it's people who are assholes.
See, this is where you and I separate. This is where you and I are different. I don't mind it.
I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of in this weird middle ground with that, because I'm very much like, hey, cops, don't talk to them. Like, I'm in that camp a lot of the times, right? Because I've seen friends get kind of mistreated by the criminal justice system and this and that. But also at the same time, watching my city that I spent years of my life in be tormented, you know, for 3 weeks on end, and talking to my literal best friend who lives down there, saying he had to go live with his aunt and uncle in Canada for 3 weeks, is also not cool, right? So it's this, I'm in this weird balance of like, I don't want to see any, you know, over police force and a police state, but at the same time, fuck out of my city. Like, it's also like this weird. Yeah. I'm very torn. I'm very much in this.
Yeah, it's not like a get the fuck out of the city because we don't want you here and you're dirty and gross. It's get the fuck out of the city because the last time you were here, you locked us up for 3 weeks. And we've got like thousands and thousands of people in counseling because all they heard were horns. And then you said you were going to come back. And the MOU of this group basically said, hey, well, listen, we're going to be there until Labor Day. We're going to like up to 100 to 200,000 people. This is not just about today, right? This is about all this stuff. And this might be a shock to everybody. I'm just going to say this right now. We have breaking news. This is very interesting. Is that Prime Minister Trudeau is still at large, everybody. That, you know, they were supposed to. Yeah, I know. They were supposed
I hoping they would scoop him up.
So they're 2 hours late arresting him then.
Yeah, they're supposed to. Not only did he not get arrested, he wasn't even there until late last night. He wasn't in Ottawa because he just came back from a trip overseas. And they do this every time when he's not here, which I want to get to. But do you remember this little MOU they put out? This is the deal. Gates of Parliament. He's facing life in prison, and we're going to arrest him. And then there's this stupid little haiku at the end with these fucking losers. This is Justin Trudeau about an hour ago at LeBreton Flats. You can see him wearing a flak jacket. I'm going to get to the courage that he displayed in just a second. And I don't like the guy or his politics. But all those people that were there to arrest the guy, this is weird. Here's Justin Trudeau at large, everybody. Look at him walking around. He's there with his beautiful family. There he is in a gray suit. There's Sophie, best friend, I think. His best friend, Sophie. He's wearing a flak jacket, and he's literally just like shaking hands with people on the way by. These people are actually happy to see him. Now,
there's cops everywhere. Are they not seeing him?
There's cops
It's a wanted
everywhere.
fugitive. He has a warrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what that guy behind him's doing. Maybe he's chasing him. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was going to say, like, there's police right there. They could have got him.
I know.
Isn't the industry term tailing? Isn't that what they say?
That
We're
could have been
tailing
it.
The suspect, yeah. Waiting for the right moment to put the cuffs on him.
It might have been too dangerous with that many
they're
people.
tailing him.
Yeah.
Well, and this is breaking news as well. Not only is he still at large, but you know this little thing where they're like, we need to arrest him, life in prison, that was like spelt by a 3-year-old. They had to change it because none of the stuff they said was going to stick, right? So they changed it to this today.
Oh.
They put out this new one where they said, hey, we're going to arrest him. He's facing a life sentence. Police will be called. Official complaint will be filed against Trudeau for committing treason. Now it's just sworn testimony from RCMP OPS did not. Trudeau didn't seek necessarily Parliament consent to invoke the Emergencies Act. Now it's about the Emergencies Act. Yesterday it was about something else. These people are so fucked in the head, so fucking like juvenile and duplicitous and dumb. Like that to me is just the sign that we need to be able to put this in a little bit of a box, wrap it up in twine, and put it away for a long period of time. Whether you like this guy or not, whether you like Trudeau or not, those are the machinations of a crazy person. Oh, what do you got there?
What is that?
Sticker.
You got a sticker.
Karima's got a sticker.
Can you get me one of those stickers, please? I need that for my life.
What's it say? What's it say, Karima?
It says wanted Trudeau for treason.
Oh, we need one of those.
But here's the thing, Karima. He's only wanted between noon and 2 p.m. After 2, he's good. He's good to go back to doing what he's doing.
That's the narrowest scope of a warrant I've ever seen in my life, just so you guys are aware. I don't know about you, Karima, but that's the narrowest what do they call it?
Guys, it's 404.
He shows up at 2:01. Oh, sorry, RCMP. Warrant's expired.
So what do they have to do, Karima? Do they have to call a judge, like a JP, to get that extended? Or
What happens?
can they...
a telewarrant. I'm sure that someone will pull some strings.
Okay, good.
And it's only a warrant to the parliamentary precinct. It's not a Canada-wide warrant. Only in the front parliament, right? If he's out of that, he's good.
Well, maybe that's why they didn't get him, because that wasn't where he was, where they all showed up to arrest him. So
the warrant bound were very, very geography focused at that point. You couldn't get out of the precinct. Sorry, we can't get him.
No. If he was 15 feet this way, we'd have him. But
that's why he was tailing him. You're right. Maybe that's why he was doing that trailing thing, JB.
Yeah. This is a Simpsons episode writing itself at this point.
It totally is, dude. And here's the fucking crazy
Welcome,
part.
Lou.
Millhouse is all in, by the way. Like, this fucking idiot, like all of these, this fucking idiot supports the same fucking idiots that put this out that said, "Hey, Trudeau's wanted for treason and he faces life in prison." It's a Simpsons episode, and this is evil Millhouse. And that is what we got going on here. Like, I take none of this seriously, to the point. Let's go back to Donald Smith. JB has this one too. He's going to comment on it today. Follow him on TikTok. Sheep King JB on TikTok. Sheep King JB on Twitter as well. This is the same kind of fucking. This is the same MO. These are the same brain power. I want you to watch this carefully. This is Donald Smith. Again, breaking news. Antifa's coming, ladies and gentlemen.
I just heard from my sources. Some of the left-wing militants here in Ottawa who love calling the cops on people, who support defunding the cops, literally who support defunding the cops, are planning to attack. They're planning to use bear mace. They're planning to use eggs. They're planning to use a weapon, like a gun. That's what I heard from my sources. We know the so-called far left who love to do all this stuff will probably try to start a fight and probably do something. They already know I'm in Ottawa, and I don't give a rat's ass about them at all. They're a bunch of dildo sucking pieces of shit who need to be exposed. But I'm under court orders, so I can't say too much, or I'll have an Antifa militant lawyer up my ass.
Oh my God. Sorry, Kareem. I know you kind of help him with a couple of things because you're nice.
Stop. Wait. Let it soak in for a second. Krima, are you the militant Antifa lawyer?
Yeah. Is that you? Is that you, JB? Is that you? No one knows what to say. I mean, this is indicative of every single person there. Maybe to some extent, he's a little worse, if you will.
He's a spokesperson.
He is literally, like, that is exactly what all that stuff is, JB. That's exactly what all that stuff is.
Yeah, apparently, according to my comment section on my TikToks, I'm the leader of Antifa, by the way. So
congratulations.
Union dues are due on the 5th, by the way, so make sure you pay. You can e-transfer me. It's fine. It's
Karima?
But,
I've been called an Antifa lawyer in the past.
she's our counsel, by the way.
Oh, is she? You know what I loved? I loved how he just listed stuff.
Yeah. He listed the things that he knows.
Yeah.
Eggs, bacon,
Eggs and mac and cheese, and they're gonna come with guns. They're gonna come with bats and Antifa lawyers.
I think my video when I do that, because that's my next one that I'm working on, is I'm just gonna recreate it, but in my own way, about just listing things in my kitchen. Just like
way to do it. Yes. Yeah. It's coming with a spatula.
I can't open my fridge because of my milk, my bread, and other things.
Antifa put them there. Fuck.
It's over. I mean, it's shit eating season. This is what we're seeing, and it's like, and the cops are not fucking around either. Like poor Donald Smith, sure, he's out in left field, and basically everybody involved in this whole thing is. But like, back to the police state stuff. There's some dude that tried to hop a fence, and I want you to watch how this is right in front of Parliament. I want you to watch how sneaky this guy was. He's not sneaky at all, by the way.
And this isn't Donald, by the way.
This is a different person. Yeah, so we're moved on from Donald now. Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank fucking God. Get me out of the Donald conversation. I can't handle it anymore.
Sorry,
Thanks for being a sport about it, though, and letting us play this stuff.
Well, the thing is, like, I wanted to clarify certain points. And we all have different trajectories, right?
That's a really nice
Yeah,
way
we
to
all have
say
a
it.
different canon.
That's such a lawyer answer. That's the
It
most
is
lawyer answer I've
That's a
ever
nice lawyer answer, though. She's the nicest person I ever met in my whole
She
life.
is.
Yeah, she really is. Anyway, I want you to watch this guy try and hop the fence. I don't know when this happened. I think it was later last night. Not a good idea this weekend, everybody. Don't hop the fence at Parliament, please.
If I say there's something about to happen, there's usually something about to happen. See, told you. Told you. Told you guys. If I tell you something's happening, it's happening. Let's get over there and maybe get this guy some cameras so we can see that he doesn't get his ass kicked. Hold on, guys.
You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything.
After I told
anything.
him to do it, something's gonna happen. After I told him to go do it, once I started rolling, you watch, something's gonna happen.
I kind of hope that they kept him going, because where was he going to go? There's a giant 10-story pit in front of Parliament right now. Let him scale that wall and jump that and have him fall into the parking garage they're building under Parliament right now. That would have been my approach to that. It was like, let him go. He's not going to go anywhere. Like, everything's all cordoned off because of construction for the next 20 years. So,
But you know what? The thing is we haven't seen much of that, like, which is great, right? Like we saw a bunch of this in the last one, but we haven't seen much of this. But some of the people are still some of these people, right? Like Karima, you ran into some interesting cats today, and one of the videos that you put up today, I'll play it for people, was a woman talking to a guy who was just trying to take pictures, right? I'm going to play the video, then you can explain it to us, because like it's not just wrestling, choking, fence hopping. These people are still in and around the streets, like in the exclusion zone. These are still people that are still pissed off that they've apparently lost their freedoms. And again, it's the same quality or cognitively delayed person. Watch this.
Walks of life, everybody has a different opinion. I'm not giving consent to be taken by this picture by this guy. Record him. Without my consent to take pictures, without my consent. Without my consent, my self-defending. So stop doing this to people. You got the warning. I asked you, you didn't respect my law.
Fuck you, fucking old bitch.
Share the screen, guys. Share the screen. Get people in here. Get people in here. Oh, I know you. Well, today, eh? I'm not touching anyone. I didn't touch nobody.
Guys, if you want to take a picture, search for consent. This is allowed. I know my law.
So random at the end.
the girl at the end saying hi is actually a good friend of mine.
Is she?
She's at every convoy. She's at every counter protest. She's the one there. She goes by Purse Nuggets on TikTok. If you want to follow her, she's good stuff.
Purse Nuggets? I didn't know that. Okay, cool. That's a small world. There's Karima with her cameraman. They're running around. What was that, Karima? And is that just kind of the vibe on Bank Street or whatever, or in front of Parliament? Go ahead.
Yeah, when that was around the time of waiting for Trudeau to turn himself in. And it started with a very aggressive national anthem, extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
And the sort of the interaction with the camera, and I don't know exactly who the guys with cameras were, and they did seem intent on getting footage of the freedom fighters, but that's permissible in public.
Yeah.
You know how many
So
times
what's
I've had
not
my
permissible
taken
is
down
vandalism.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
what
is
she did was
right?
illegal.
Like, what did she do? She took out a marker and colored on his cat. Like, was it a permanent marker?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's vandalism, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we just witnessed a crime. So she just committed a crime, that lady.
Yeah.
I just love that the cameraman basically called her out, being like, "You stupid fucking bitch!" Like,
Fuck your law, you stupid
journalists
fucking
don't
bitch, I
give a
believe
fuck
was the quote.
sometimes. Yeah.
But he's right. You're on a public street. You have no right to privacy on a public road. I was a PI. If it didn't matter where the hell I was, if it was a public street, I could take your picture. I could be just as close as he was in your face taking a picture, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So and then she's, I know my law. No, you don't.
No.
That's your in here. That's your law, but that's not the law. I'm sorry, and this is the problem we're up against. People are giving them that false sense of rights and things that are being taken away from them. Like apparently, like somehow that'll turn around and be Justin Trudeau said he could take her picture, and that's not right. Like this is how this ends up being. It's a fucking farce.
Well,
It's like
last time I
satire.
checked, and Karima can correct me on this. Last time I checked, Ontario is a single-party consent place where, like, it just requires one person to know that something is being photographed or recorded.
It better be, or her last 2 years are serious criminality.
No.
Yeah, no, like it, and I believe that's the case in most of Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a code thing. I don't even know if that's Ontario, is it? Karima, I think
Yeah,
that's a national
I think that's
law.
a common law thing.
Yeah, that's common law.
And it may be that actually I don't want to speak on it because it's not my area of law. So I won't.
Okay.
Well, just to give people an idea.
I
So
would've anyway.
what we're saying is if I was following, say, Dean, and I was recording him, and JB was in the room with us, and JB knew that I was recording Dean, that is now, I could use that as admissible evidence in court against Dean, because JB now has the opportunity to tell Dean, you're being recorded. And if I was just Dean and I in a room and I was recording him, I couldn't submit that as evidence against him in any sort of like binding.
I like how we're breaking it
Legal.
down like we expect any of these people to understand what single-party consent
I'm
is.
talking about the people in our comments who are actually probably pretty smart and on our
I only know it
little
from
more on our
recording
level.
clowns on when I was in radio. When people would call in, I could just record them, right, without them knowing, right?
Because calling was consent.
Yeah,
back in the
exactly.
day.
They're
Yeah.
dialing the 9 numbers or 10 numbers or how many numbers are in a phone number? I don't even know anymore. They're calling in to
10.
talk to me drunk at 1 a.m. when I was on air. And
Yeah, but if you were to call them, you would need their consent.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind how people have just written these laws for themselves, because this is how I'm white and I'm inconvenienced by what you're doing right now. I'm rewriting my charter rights to stop you from, like, that's what this and
That's all this
everybody's
has ever
okay
been.
with it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but and then all of a sudden people come along and you got a couple lawyers on a show. You've got
Yeah.
people that actually read, and you're like, no, that's really not how it works. But again, it shows the brain power of this group. And another example, this is from Karina strolling the streets. The guy who informed people about this is really about one thing, right? Then he names 3 things. Watch this.
Don't worry, gang. We're all here for one thing. Peace, happiness, respect with one another. That's why we're here. It's my body, my choice. My body, my choice. Don't forget about this.
Yeah. So that was one thing that led to 3 things. And I believe that guy was wearing a shirt that says Free Pat King on the back. Is that correct?
he wrote it with his
He
Sharpie.
started a Free Pat King chant, actually,
did
at
he
several junctures. Yeah.
Why are they doing that in front of Parliament? He's just off the 417 in the county jail. Like, just go down there and do it. Like, it's
for fuck's sakes. Anyway, that is it has been You know what? If you ask me, if someone said to me, what do you make of this one? I would say this. Looks like we're taking our shit back. Like, does that not what this looks like? Looks like Canada Day is a celebration. Does it not feel like we're taking our shit back a little bit, Karima?
To some degree. But I guess I still find it jarring how much of a security presence there is. So taking it back, but in a different form than it used to be, and I think of it as we've never been able to travel by plane the same way, right? Even though that may not actually, like taking off shoes, may not actually be the most efficient way to screen, right? So it's once we normalize this kind of thing, I don't see a return to a more open and free state, which is a shame. So that's kind of it's victorious in the sense that yes, we don't have trucks that have barreled through the barricades on Wellington and no one's setting up shop. But it's a partial victory.
Isn't it crazy that it's them that have ruined it for the thing that they're fighting for? And that's kind of where the hypocrisy kills me when we watch these things. Because I agree with you. Like, I feel shitty that this has to be the way it is. But what's the alternative now?
I agree. Yeah, for me, it's the fact that James Topp walked across the country because he's mad about whatever things he's mad about, but and he's trying to reclaim his lost wages. Yet the 1,500 retail workers at the Rideau Center that could work for 3 weeks didn't get any pay because they're hourly employees working for some typically American corporation at some retail store. They didn't work for 3 weeks. Where's their compensation for lost pay? Because the Rideau Center and the CF and don't get me wrong, Cadillac Fairview is a greed company. They like their money. They even said it is not safe for our people and these employees to come to the Rideau Center. And I've seen some fucked up shit in the Rideau Center. Like, it's like I vividly remember as a child sitting in the food court and a man walking butt naked in front of me, like walking fast while I'm eating my KFC. And I go, "Daddy, what's that?" And my dad just says, "He's having a good time, son." Like, that's what I've seen in the Rideau Center. So for that to not be allowed and the retail employees not getting paid, where's their compensation for their 3 weeks of not being paid? That's my question, right? So,
well, and dude, I mean, the response that we're seeing is a direct result of their actions in January, February, right? I mean, the response that we're seeing, the fact that people can't go to Canada Day, on Parliament Hill. I mean, yeah, there's massive construction there, but the barricades, not being allowed to drive downtown, park, walk around. I mean, you had to make other plans, and I know there's construction, so they moved it to LeBreton Flats. But I'm with you, Karima. Like, as much as I love seeing what I'm seeing, for obvious reasons, because a lot of these people are terrible fucking people. There are a lot of people that are involved in this group that are not terrible people, that are just, for lack of a better term, slow, or lack of a better term, cognitively delayed. And they get wrapped up in this thing, and then they're now part of that police state. And once you're in the system, you are in the fucking system. And you're right. Once you decide to clamp down, they don't go backwards when it comes to freedom in this country, especially when you consider the state that we're in right now, where you have no idea who's carrying what. You have no idea whose intentions are who. Like, we sat and watched a couple of hundred vehicles literally bring the nation's capital to a fucking standstill for a month. We saw people fucking set up soup kitchens. Like
border crossings, fucking international trade points.
They shut down border crossings.
Windsor absolutely infuriated me. It's one thing to go to the Capitol and park your truck and honk your horn and make a big scene, but the fact that you blocked the border crossing in Windsor, our biggest point of trade with our international partner, that's terrorism at that point. It's one thing to protest, and I'm all for the right to protest. I go to protests in the city of Toronto. I do that. But it's another thing to block a border crossing. like it's two very different things in my opinion.
And then having political elites in our country advising people which border crossings are the ones to actually go to.
Yeah.
Like, remember when Randy Hillier was giving out the names of the border crossings? This one here and this one here. Like, these are elected officials of this country, and this is where we're at. And so, yeah, I mourn it just as much as you do, Kareem. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, frustrating to watch. I mean, it is from just a citizen standpoint that you thought that you could kind of go downtown and celebrate Canada Day, go to the nation's capital, look at Parliament buildings. It's an impressive place. Like if you've ever been downtown and you've seen, all the buildings, Bank of Canada building, the Senate, the Parliament Hill, all of those buildings are old and they're magnificent and they're stately, and there's a vibe. And I've been to Canada Day in Ottawa a couple of times, and there's a vibe Canada Day in Ottawa that's really cool. It's like this one day where everybody kind of gets together. It's like we're on the same team. We're in Canada. Nobody knew what anybody's views were. Nobody actually questioned someone with a flag down there. And I'm watching people use flags. Like I was on the phone, actually. Was I on the phone with you, Linz, when I was on the way home today? Yeah, I was on the phone with you. And this is literally
amazing.
This is a true story. So I go downtown, help a friend of mine fix their toilet because she's like, oh, my goodness. So I go down and I'm like, okay, I come back. And on my way back,
by the way, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll fix anybody's shitter. No big deal. But on the way back, I see an overpass and there's people with flags. Now, keep in mind, it is Canada Day, right? So Canada Day, you're like, oh, that's nice. And then I look a little closer. The flags are upside down.
Wait. Here comes the best part.
Linz is on the phone with me. And I go, hang on a second. I roll my window down, honk a few times to get their attention because I'm slowing down on the off-ramp to get off. The overpass is right here. And I'm like, hey! And they both look down with their flags and they wave to me and I go, fuck you!
I thought he was yelling at me because I didn't know what he was doing. Like, what the fuck did I do? I'm just calling to talk about the show today.
And one guy gave me the finger, and the other lady was like this, and she's like, "There's two people. It was just two lonely losers, two lonely assholes standing there deciding on Canada Day instead of bringing people together. They're going to wave some upside down Canadian flags." And then when you think about for a lot of those upside down flags in Ottawa this weekend, and other people who actually legitimately are grateful to live in a country as free and as accepting and as loving as this country is, you get fucking crazy in your head. Like I was frustrated and I didn't know what to do, so I opened up my door and I compromised all my values, and I'm like, you can go fuck yourself to these fucking losers on an overpass, because I am so tired of seeing that. And I don't think I'm alone, right? Like I think everybody that's in Ottawa this weekend, you can probably tell the stripe of the individual by which way their flag is hanging, right? And I don't know if you've seen a lot of upside down flags, but I know we live in a real flag country now. Like we live in a flag time where instead of actually talking to someone about your beliefs, you just walk around with a flag or you slap something on your bumper sticker. But is there like a divisive vibe? I don't think anybody who's celebrating Canada Day is downtown Ottawa this weekend.
No, there are legit people like who are celebrating with their families, people who live here. So it's actually, I would say the freedom crew is outnumbered. Certainly at Le Breton Flats, I think it's all normal people. But and even kind of in front of Parliament, the way that I've been distinguishing is, is there writing on the flag? Is the flag dragging on the floor? Is the flag on a hockey stick? Those are all sort of my initial indicia when assessing whether it is a
or if they're covering somebody's naked ass, their naked, dirty ass, like your friend. Did we have that video today, Dean, or no? What's his name? What's that guy's name, Karima?
Barry Thongman.
The Barry Thongman.
Oh, yeah, dude, I got it. I got the Barry Thongman. Yes,
I want to talk about desecrating a flag.
I do.
You know what, though? That flag, it took one for the team.
It was doing a service.
Yeah.
Let's play this video. This is Barry Thongman. This guy's about as inappropriate as they fucking come. So all you people that are out there going, you guys don't lead Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. This guy loves the Lord, and he's in a thong, and he's a fucking total weirdo. This is him. This is your video, right, Karima? You can go to @KarimaRules and see it. This is Karima watching Barry Thongman preach to some people that are literally just sitting on a curb going, fuck off, bro.
All I want to do is hug everybody. I just want everybody's fucking pain to go away. We just want people to know that we will celebrate Canada. We will never give up. We will defend our country. That hill is empty for the first time in 185 years. Why? Why? I want to ask you why. Why is that hill empty? Why is it empty? Treason Trudeau!
I have a theory. I have a theory why it's empty.
Well, I'd love to hear it. Let me just point out, it's empty because you and your mouth breather friends fucked it for everybody else. But that's okay.
You got it.
Thank you.
You said it for me. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
Can you imagine just sitting there waiting for a bus?
No.
Like you're just having a coffee. You're there with your friend. You're like, oh, wow, it's Canada Day. Happy Canada Day. We're waiting for the bus longer because it's a holiday schedule.
All I want to do is hug everybody.
You're supposed to hug everybody.
We just want people
Look
to
at them
know
just
that
nodding.
we
Please go
will
away.
Celebrate Canada.
Look at
We will never give up. We will defend our country. That hill is empty for the first time in 185 years.
This guy was the drunkest dude at the last one too, right, Karima? Is this the dude that tried to hug you and get in your gear and stuff like this? Is the same guy, right? Oh, sorry, I got you on mute. Sorry, but go ahead.
It's the same guy. He did successfully hug me.
Gross.
Yeah.
One, that's Pierre Poilievre's chief of staff, by the way. The second thing is such a disrespect for the flag. Like my grandfather passed away in November, and he was a military man, and the Legion came in to hang the flags, both the Air Force flag and the Canadian flag, and they did it with such respect and such such honor to come in and at my grandfather's funeral, a military member, and then you see that guy in a thong with a Canadian flag rubbing on his ass. I sit here, I'm like, my grandfather's rolling in his grave seeing shit like that, like somebody who served our country, right? Yeah. It's just sad.
Man, it's there. I can hear Karima's dog snoring, so that you know what that means. Karima probably has to go, and I know you've got lots of videos to get to today. Follow Karima; she's covering everything. She's in Ottawa. Again, you've done just a magnificent job. Follow Karima at Karima Rules. You can go and donate to her as well. As what she's doing is the Lord's work. Nobody else is doing this kind of work. She brings you free stuff, so you can pay for that if you like, and we encourage you to do it. All that information, that e-transfer information, ways you can support her with great comments, maybe a little bit of cash. She would appreciate it. We would as well. It can be found on her Twitter in her bio at Karima Rules as well. Did I get that right? Did I nail that one?
You nailed it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for doing
King
this,
of the
kiddo.
plugs.
It's like he's a professional.
Yeah. I've done this before once or twice. You stay safe and go and smoke that freedom fighter weed.
Yeah. I got a gift.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're handing out weed there. All the freedom fighters. Some of them aren't that bad. I'm gonna tell you. Like some of the freedom fighters are just kind of mixed up. Some of them are just doing. Some of them are really selfish. It's like, hey, Karima, here's a bag of weed. I'd be like, all right, as long as it's sealed, I'll smoke it.
I would test that weed before you maybe consume it.
It is sealed. It is.
Oh, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Take it to
the
a
one
clinic and have
time
them
I'm
swab
not
it.
like bragging on OCS for its packaging.
When it's free. Yeah. Thanks, Karima. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for doing this.
Be safe.
Sadvocacy.com is where you can find her. Karima Rules. JB, you're still in, right? We got our lawyer friend here from kivlaw.ca. Don't forget, if you're looking to get out of trouble and you're in trouble, you need a good defense attorney. The good people at kivlaw.ca got you covered. And Robert Kivlikin, who is the owner, operator, founder of kivlaw.ca, joins us. Robbie, baby!
What's going on, boys? As you see, I've got so I just wanted mugs and pens, and just branded, right? Because that means you're legit when you have branded shit. Yeah. And so I'm wearing my branded golf shirt for all the listeners. And then she was cute, so now I have 10 Callaway fucking branded golf shirts in my office. I got hustled to shit. Like she took me to the woodshed.
Dude, that's why they have hot babes selling to guys like you and me. It's like, you don't need this. We know you don't, but you should get it. And we're like, hey, if it keeps me here an extra 20 minutes, I'm in.
Yeah.
I think those ads are
You're
fake.
a lonely
Dean. I'm
schmuck.
starting to suspect those ads are fake.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't think there's hot singles in my area anytime soon. I've been looking and I can't find them, so I don't know. But I feel like I'm in a Zoom court call. We have lawyers jumping in and out.
That's
and,
right.
I don't know.
Is that a waterbed?
That?
That
No.
might be why you're lonely. I don't know.
No, that's a very comfortable bed, sir. I have a good bed.
Dude, this guy knows beds. He JB is like he's kind of the jack of all trades. Funny word for what we're about to talk to. Jack of all trades and the master of a few, as a matter of fact. He's a very successful Twitch guy. And if you follow him on Twitch, Sheep King JB, he's on TikTok, very successful there. It's a little business for him. Sheep King JB on TikTok. What I found out today that was very interesting is he's got an OnlyFans account and he dabbles in adult videos too, gentlemen.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean by that? Like, what is it? Just like you like pulling your goalie on camera? Like what?
I mean, if you want to watch, I can send you a video. Like, it's fine. But no, I do adult content as an entertainment. It's another thing I do. I joined it because a couple friends were involved in that industry and they needed somebody to lie down and do what they're told. So I lie down and I do what I'm told. And there's sometimes cameras set up. So yeah, no, it's good fun. It's good fun.
We've been trying to talk Jimmy into it from the Jedi Jimmy podcast. Right? Yeah. He'd make $1 million if he did it, but he hasn't done it. So I don't blame you. You make good money out of it. Yeah,
it's a decent coin every month. It's not like quit your job money or anything like that, but it's definitely something that was worth it for me in the bank account, right? And the connections I've made, if I want to go out in the city of Toronto, I can go out in the city of Toronto. I got connections with certain individuals that can make that night a pretty fun night.
No kidding.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
What about like a lawyer one, Rob? Would you ever think about doing a spicy law?
I mean, if things keep, I don't know. Well, like I'm doing well enough. I
was going to say, I know you don't need the money, but I'm just thinking, just for somebody like you.
I was going to say, I admire anyone that's comfortable enough with their body to do that. I mean, that's good enough. I mean, I'm shaped like a pear and I have man tits, so like I'm not really about to do. I don't think there's much of a market for that, but
oh man, it look at me. I'm a fucking 6 foot or 5'6" glasses white guy. Like I'm not the peak physical male condition, yet people give me.
You're not a specimen, are you?
I'm not a specimen that people are chasing. But for me, it's not, or in general, it's not about that. It's about, who these actresses, right? And for, they could easily, and I said this to Dean in private, they could easily put a message out and saying who wants to film a video with me and get hundreds and hundreds of requests, right? Mm-hmm. But it's to the people that they trust, right? And that's sort of the camp that I've no pun intended, infiltrated in.
That was the name of your last video, wasn't it? Infiltrated camps.
Yeah. No, hey, good for you. I support anybody living their truth, and I support anybody doing their thing. I didn't mean to make a joke of it.
It's fine. Joke around. My favorite thing, and I told Dean this, is when I'm arguing with a dumb idiot on the internet and they find out that I have an OnlyFans, I power move them and send them a free trial.
He does. Dude, that's how I found out as we were sitting here prepping for the show and we were talking about Donald Smith and he gets into it because what JB does is he goes through these videos that people send him and then he'll comment on them on TikTok. You know how you put it together where you're like, no, that's actually not true. This is what happened. And that's what JB does. He's one of the best in the business at it, especially when it comes to these jerk offs. So, pardon the pun. So what happens was, like, we're talking about it this morning and I'm like, what happened online? He's like, this happened. And I got in a fight with this guy who called me a gay prostitute and he made fun of me because I make adult movies. And I'm like, what do you mean you make fucking adult movies? And he's like, adult films. And I'm like, explain the whole thing to me. And then he just explained it to me like you explained it to me. I would have had no idea if these freedom fighters hadn't come for you that you make adult films, and fucking super proud of you for doing it too.
Yeah.
Any way you can make money, go for it. Yeah. And if you got a hammer, you got a hammer.
The funny thing
do you have a hammer though? Like that, we got to know. Inquiring minds need to know.
So for $5 a month, you can find out. It's very like it's
fuck it. I can pay for that shit. I'm gonna find out tonight. See if he's got an absolute wrench on him. Let's
do a write up on him, would you, Rob? We want to know.
Yeah, no, it's
baby's
just
arm holding an apple.
Yeah.
My favorite
with a
thing
turtleneck
was the guy that said,
"What's your name on OnlyFans?"
It's just Spicy Sheep King. It's just
Spicy Sheep King is where you can find him on OnlyFans. Spicy Sheep King. Yeah. Look he's on the fucking phone already. Robbie's on the phone. He's like, yeah, I want to see this guy's wrench.
Oh, I just got a new subscription. notification.
Oh, did you really?
That wasn't me.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, it's
I'm not joking.
No, it's the funny thing is that this guy I was arguing with, he's from New York. He's named Mr. Nice Guy on TikTok, and he's a real piece of work. He was trying to make a claim on a live that he doesn't like trans people in bathrooms, and my big thing to him was, what do you think happens in bathrooms? Like, it's not this sex aid that these people go on. And then when he found out, he kept calling me gay because apparently supporting the LGBTQ is gay. So apparently I'm a gay man. And then he found out I had an OnlyFans, so he kept calling me a gay prostitute because apparently that's prostitution.
What, being on OnlyFans is prostitution?
Yeah,
That's new to me.
because I get paid to have sex. So
that's not prostitution. That's you being smart. That's you're a fucking entrepreneur. If you got a wrench and you want to show it, and there's an opportunity to make some money with that wrench, and you're totally cool with it, fuck, bottoms up.
I'm gonna do it anyways. I might as well set up a camera and record it, right? Like if I'm gonna do the thing,
yeah.
Might as well
name
do it.
on
Spicy. His handle on OnlyFans is Spicy Sheep King.
Yeah.
Sheep
now,
King.
I'm not. I didn't come on the show to talk about how.
No. There you are. Holy tits.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's got an OnlyFans. But dude, like it's if it's good, and here's the thing is that he's safe about it. So you hook up with one person who needs you. You're basically a stunt dick, right? And you're like, if I'm going to be a stunt dick, I might as well make money being a stunt dick.
That's literally why I do it.
Yeah.
That's,
okay.
Good for you.
I had some friends who needed the prop, as I say. So I'll be the prop, right? Like it's. For me, it's just it's not even about the income. It's about fun. It's about having fun. It's about exploring that side of me because that's we all do it, right? So if you're comfortable, and I'm a charismatic person, I put myself out there in the public eye. So this is just a way to do it, and I believe sex work is work, and I'm sure you all can agree to that.
Absolutely.
And sure. And why as well support my friends, right? And that's that.
Absolutely, dude. No one's listen. We're having fun talking about it, and if we were, I would say, if we had the principles that you had, and if we had hammers like you, probably all of us would be doing the exact same thing.
Oh, I don't have principles. I've never said I had principles. You're making claims that are just untrue, sir. At this point,
sorry, buddy.
Hey, good for you. I fully
absolutely.
support it. Like I'm gonna follow you on Twitter. I think I just did.
Yeah, you should.
Yep.
Yeah, I emailed you about the safe abortions thing. I know you're probably.
Oh, did you? Inundated with like literally. I'll actually get emotional talking about how many people have reached out. I'm talking like it's north of 300 now.
Nice.
People just direct emails, like direct.
Yeah, the Twitter's
emails.
going crazy.
I love it. I thought about doing it myself, and then I got busy with on a weekend when the Roe v. Wade stuff. But when Roe v. Wade was being discussed to be overturned, I thought about doing exactly what you're doing, about creating a platform, a website, some sort of funnel system for people, in those states that are close to the Canadian border, but also a plane right away.
Like I just in Canada as well that we have real issues with this as well. Like so, it's not just for American women. So we've got the articles of incorporation on the legal side for myself. The articles of incorporation are done. They're to be filed Monday, because it's not a holiday here. So articles of incorporation are done. We're getting the website that's going to launch probably within the week. That was my big thing. It's like we need to just get that online presence with an infographic map of like, okay, and there are only 3. There are like 7-8 million people in Alberta. There are 3 clinics in Alberta.
Yeah.
Hard to
like,
believe,
I know
isn't
New
it?
Brunswick has a problem too. I think with access as well.
Yeah, the Atlantic provinces are tough, and that was it for me. Is like it's one thing to be like in one of these red states and say, I need to have an abortion. I'm going to run to Canada and do it because Canada's advertising, come do it here. We're okay with. But then you book your flight and you end up in Edmonton and find out there's nothing there, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I wish there was a platform, and this is the perfect platform to show. Okay, well, Toronto has clinics, Vancouver has clinics, Montreal has clinics, right? And what
we need is somebody who's actually got the time, because everybody has a day job, so we need somebody who like has the time to make it, because this is a ready-made full-time gig, and with the fundraising, like the person will. That's what we're looking for, is somebody who can admin this whole thing and organize it. And I've already reached out to American Council, who are like, listen, I'll give you the updates for the state of Missouri. I'll give you the updates for the state of Texas, which isn't. You don't really need updates. They're just gonna fucking ban the whole thing.
Yeah.
Period. But like, and ways that they're going to restrict it. And each, like, I was talking to a lawyer in Alabama on FaceTime, and he said, he's like, I'll be sending you the research about what my state does. Same with Florida, I can coordinate the legal side of things. No problem. Just through that network and through the Criminal Lawyers Association, as defunct and ridiculous an organization. It's just run by this old boys club of self-aggrandizing people who put themselves in their own positions, whatever. But I reached out to the Criminal Lawyers Association, and enough got back to me. There's a lot of I can do that, but we need somebody who's just coordinating the whole thing, because everyone has a day job. So but we need to get this off the ground, because they're moving faster than we are.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: is you mentioned something earlier, is that when you brought this up and you wanted to do safeabortionscanada.ca or safeabortionscanada.ca, and you called us, and I know you're working with Linz and a bunch of other people on this. And JB, we'd be happy to help you. Like, we'd love for your help in the project as well. So we'll all get on a call. We'll all get on a call and talk about it after this. But what was amazing is like, when you dig into this, I was shocked at how little access there is to having a safe abortion in this country.
Yeah.
Like, as you pointed out, 3 clinics in all of Alberta. Nova Scotia's got a problem. PEI's got a problem. Newfoundland has a problem. And that problem is access, where it's so difficult to go and find a place to do it. When you actually find a place to get it done, there are a bunch of hoops you got to jump through that are put there by colonial assholes who just wanted to breathe Jesus Christ into policy. So my point is that I think it's a wonderful concept, because not only are you giving people in the United States the ability to see how it should be done, you're also challenging Canadians and the system here in Canada to like fucking get their shit together in different provinces and across this country. Like, to say, this is a woman's right to be able to choose what she wants to do with her body. This is a woman's right to be able to decide how she wants to live her life. And to make people look for it or jump through hoops for it, or whatever the situation is, in any country, is fucking ridiculous. And I think if there's one silver lining about Roe v. Wade, which I'm kind of happy about, is that it's activated a bunch of dudes to be able to say, hey, listen, we got to be allies for these people. Ryan, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No. It's okay. They were talking in Missouri today, and this is what pisses me off when we were going back to the convoy, and you see these guys talking about freedom, and they're flying Trump flags and American flags along, like, on our national holiday. Missouri legislature today was talking about employing sniffing dogs at airports to sniff out if women are pregnant and if they're trying to leave the state.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Swear to God, this is an absolute fact. That was today. Yeah. So, sniffing dogs at the airport.
Insane.
Like, sniffing women to see if they're pregnant?
Yeah, because there's they have detection dogs to find out if women are pregnant. There's a way to train a dog to do it.
Get the fuck out of here.
And we're in Ottawa today, flying Trump flags and American flags and yelling for freedom here in Canada. And we want to be like them.
JB, you're going to say something?
Wasn't there a politician that said we need to make women swallow cameras and see if eventually we can see if the person's pregnant? Like, a camera eventually goes to the person's uterus. Like, not a thing. Anatomy. Yeah. We learned this in grade 9.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't go in your bum. Babies don't come from your bum.
If you stick to anal, you don't get pregnant. It's fine.
That's the way I've been doing this for 31 years, right? Just go that way.
Is that too far? Too far there? Too far?
No, you go to the neighbor's house. That's what I call it. You call in the pinch hitter if you don't want to get pregnant. Go to the neighbor's house. Call in the pinch hitter. Yeah. You don't need a condom.
I might have to start charging you $5 a month if we're going to start talking about this. So.
Okay, sorry, I don't want to do that. So Robbie
Lindley just commented, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's Lindley's wife. Did you fail sex ed, or did sex ed fail you?
The answer is both. The answer is both.
Not you.
A lot of education. Robbie, we've got. Did you see the comeuppance at the War Memorial yesterday? Did you see this business? You see this action? You see this fight?
Between the cops, somebody who fought the cop. Oh God, they're in so much trouble.
Yeah,
so much trouble.
Wait, dude, just wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Watch the
this.
vans.
White vans of cop love coming in hot. Boom! Here we go. Let's fight. Let's fight. Da, 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 da. Get down.
Cavalry.
Get down. Get down. Get down.
Yeah.
Oh,
then
God,
start-
you're done. Oh, God. Oh, look at that. Now you're seeing just a lot of police backs.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's just about over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick a fight with the world's largest street gang.
Yeah. And they're all armed.
Yeah.
The
What is
crazy
this?
is, I witnessed a murder
So standing
here.
legal advice to anyone.
Sorry, let JB finish, and then we'll
All right,
get to
sorry,
Robbie.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead, JB. What were you going to say?
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I witnessed here in Toronto in 2018. I'm the sole witness, and I was walking my dog. A car pulled up to another car. That car decided to want to shoot their car. Guy died. There, less police showed up to that was at this fight at the War Memorial, and that's saying something. Like it was a big deal. A lot of paramedics, a lot of firefighters, all that stuff. Like it was a big deal. I'm not going to say it's not. There was maybe 13 cops at this murder. 60 cops there.
Easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robbie, what is that? Like, I mean, you know, we had Cream on earlier. We were talking about police state shit. Obviously, these guys are on high alert. But what kind of trouble are those guys in? Like, walk us through that because there was, it wasn't just like a fucking mugging. Like JB put this up and he was able to grab it. Look at this guy here on the right with the Canada toque choking a female MP in front of the cenotaph.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what are we talking here? File is it? Like that's
not great.
So, like, let's standing legal advice to anyone is don't ever lay hands on a cop. Just don't ever do it. You want some free legal advice? Probably the only free legal advice you'll ever get. Don't ever lay hands on a cop, period. You will not win, ever. Like, in that situation, if they decide to lay hands on you, it's yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. Like, just don't, if it's at the point where they're laying hands on you, just let it happen.
And fight it out later.
And deal with it later, because in that moment, you cannot win.
Mm-hmm.
And as you saw what happened, and mind you, there's not one single police officer in Ottawa has got any time off. I don't care if you have COVID, you're working. Like they've called in everybody. And you got to remember, this is the same war memorial where Corporal Cirillo was murdered.
Yep.
He was in Ottawa for that too.
Yeah, I was living in Ottawa at the time. I was at U Ottawa.
He's from Hamilton.
And so it's still, there's been a heightened presence since then, but it's greatly increased because of this freedom, whatever the hell it's called. I don't know what they're calling themselves, and who cares?
Fuckface Brigade.
Yeah, exactly. Like Cock Knuckles Battalion. Who knows?
Yeah.
Douchebag Parade.
Yeah. And so, like,
the Axe Body sponsored event. Like that's
yeah, pretty much. And so don't ever lay hands on a cop. If a cop decides that they're laying hands on you, you're in one, and just deal with it later. Okay? Like go limp, and yes, where are we going? Like that's because you
lie
cannot
down,
win in that situation.
say nothing, and just deal with the effects later. Right.
Listen, thanks for giving all these yahoos free legal advice. They're not going to fucking pay attention to any of it. We've seen
I hope they don't. I hope they don't.
So do I. But what happens, like in that situation? You've obviously represented people that have laid hands on cops. You've obviously been in situations where you've got to like literally walk people through this legal process. But what happens to those guys after they get arrested? Like,
so they're not releasing you from the station. Like onto the Tamara Litch article that I wrote about bail. So you're going to be held for bail if you touch a cop. You're spending the night. That's it. Like there's no, even if you don't have a criminal record, even if you don't, like it's a public policy thing. The Crown is not going to consent to your release because they can't. The Crown has to work with the police. And so that's going to piss them off royally. I totally get it. I understand. Like the Crowns will say to me, like, Robbie, like he hit a cop. I can't meet you halfway here. Like I've got to work with these people. I've got to see this guy again. Like, what do you think my relationship's going to be with the local constabulary if if I go easy on this guy? So there's no deal for you. Like we're hashing it out in court, and it's going to be the expensive way. So it's you're getting held for bail, and you're going to see a justice of the peace the next morning. And if it's on the weekend, because they're not going to run a contested hearing on the weekend. So basically, under the criminal code, you have to be brought before a justice within 24 hours. So even if they call it wash court, weekend and statutory holiday. So today there was a bail court. Like I was in bail court this morning for the overnight arrests. And like, I remember when Doug Ford reopened the bars it was like a year ago, last June 2021. I had like 14 of my clients got rearrested. It was incredible. Like just everybody decided to go out and just piss off some, people went nuts. They were locked in their house for 6 months. People went ballistic. But so it's, you're going to be, and if it's a contested hearing, they're not going to run that on the weekend because there's not resources there. They're only going to do consent releases. So you're going to get kicked over to next week, and probably not Monday, likely Tuesday or Wednesday. So you're going to sit for a bit.
Yeah. As it should. I mean, fuck.
This is just the reality of court. This is just the reality of what it is. Like the operations of court, like how the wheels turn.
Have you represented any of these guys before? I haven't even talked about it. Have you repped any of these people that have been picked up on charges of putting their hands on a cop because of the last 2 years, or were involved in like some of these pandemic protests or maybe some convoy shit? And if so, or if people have, like, do these people get it after the fact because they haven't gotten it to this point, or are they still like, fuck you, these are my rights, and even though they don't even fucking like, these are my Second Amendment rights. It can make me laugh so hard when they talk about that stuff. For my First Amendment, you're in Canada, but like, do they get it after this? Because you would think, like, the way that I
just walk away when they say that. I just walk away. I'm like, I'm not even dealing with you anymore. Like,
you might need to call an American lawyer, I guess. I need to go.
Yeah. You're fighting your right to own a gun in Canada, like that's Second Amendment.
No, but this is the crazy shit these people see. But my point is that, like, you would think that when you get in a physical altercation with 50 to 60 police officers and you get your ass kicked after you just choked an MP, some kind of light would go on. Do you ever see a light go on with this crew?
Here's the thing. A lot of the sort of assault, first of all, I've never represented any of the Freedom Convoy idiots because I think of my affiliation with you. Yeah. They automatically know that I don't. Yeah, you're really hurting the bank book there, but and there's like, I have my own red lines, my own sort of things that I won't touch for my own personal reasons, like fentanyl traffickers. I won't represent because if you sell fentanyl, you're dropping people. That's a fact. And there's other lawyers, and I'll refer you. I won't leave you in the lurch, but there are other lawyers that I'll send you to. Animal cruelty, because I can't handle the evidence. That's just a personal thing with me. And then child porn, because again, the evidence I find repulsive. But those are my no-fly zones, just for my own sort of mental health. And like the thing about it is though, like I've done assault peace officers, and it's normally people who are quite mentally ill who hit cops. And I'm talking like schizophrenic and off their meds, and so in that situation, it doesn't necessarily become a let's fight this out at trial. It becomes a let's get this guy some help.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The rehabilitation factor, right?
Yeah. And so this is a guy who needs to be medicated and went off his medication. And now, we need to get him some help and get him stabilized. Right. Like that's where being an unqualified social worker comes in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why these guys. So that explains why a lot of these cats continue to do this stuff, is because the elevator, pardon the phraseology, but the elevator doesn't go to the top, like the Donald Smith stuff. Elevator doesn't go to the top, so they have no understanding of lines, rules. They don't really care. They live in this cosplay universe where they think they're actually doing, because they're that fucked in the head, or they're that slow or cognitively delayed, which explains why they don't get it. Like most normal people, when you're consequenced that severely, where like 60 cops jump out of a car and they beat your ass because you just choked a cop, most people will go, probably going to take that out of my anger management repertoire.
That was like a cop clown car.
Yeah,
that was like they
just
like
kept coming.
I didn't know how many cops did they fit in there. Like,
oh fuck, dude, tons. Look at it. And it wasn't just these two, because like to do this, like to attack a police officer, an MP, Capitol Rangers is what they're called, Canadian Rangers. They sit there and you can see a couple of these female Rangers get attacked. This lady here is in a full chokehold by the hipster in the fucking weird vest.
And there's two of them on top of this guy. He's getting a beating. Good for him.
There's another angle too from that one where they've got his face just pancaked in with a hand just to keep him under control.
Angle. brutal.
I haven't seen it. What is that angle? Say that again?
It's the same guy, but what they've done is instead of actually like putting a knee into his neck, like we've seen in the news usually, he's got both of his hands on the side of his face to control his head on the ground without giving any sort of like lethal pressure. But it controls him because you can't move your head. You're not moving the rest of your body because you have no control, right? Yeah. It was actually a really effective technique.
Just bring cops together, Robbie. Like that, something like that when they see it, or cops. Because listen, the police services and these are human beings too. A lot of those people in Ottawa, probably a lot of the cops last time this happened are like, no, fucking let them in. We hate people, right? Like, so, like, I mean, is this galvanizing for the police force when you see them go after one of theirs in uniform?
Oh yeah, like the thing about it is I'll be the first to say, 99% of cops are straight up heroes who are trying to make our community better places. And they're everyday heroes and they do a tough job. I've dealt with some of the people, like the people they deal with on the day in, day out often are the neglected and hardest to deal with people in society. Okay. Like, and they're tough. Many mentally ill people who there's no register. The concept doesn't register. And very frustrating, and they've got to be very patient and often in high intensity situations where when shit goes wrong, it goes wrong in a hurry. Do you know what I mean? It's not, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. And the variables change and the rules change in the moment. Right. And so many of these cops, they're just trying to do the best thing for the community that they possibly can. But yeah, when they see like a brother or a sister get popped, oh yeah. Like, did you see like that one guy who was like he had everyone's back and then he was just waiting for someone to step up? Like he was just like, who wants one? Like just.
Yeah, they're waiting. And I think too, like the cop that's handling the murder that I witnessed has been fantastic with me because I'm the only witness and they caught the guy that is suspected to do it. And the trial is November, I think. But like I've been cross-examined by the defense, I've been cross-examined by the prosecutor. Like I've had so many freaking lawyer interviews that I don't even know what the next step is. Like you've
been to a prelim, you've been to a preliminary inquiry, you testified at the preliminary inquiry, and you're likely going to have to testify. The preliminary inquiry was at the Ontario Court of Justice, meaning the lawyers were in suits, right? Yeah, and so
it was
now
call because of the pandemic, but yes.
Now you're going up to big boy court, which is everyone's in their robes, and with the tabs. So that's Superior Court, and that's where there'll be a jury, and you'll see there's a heightened sense of formality to it.
I know it's in November sometime. That's when I've been asked to be there and it's
at 361 University.
Are they doing it in person now, Rob, for stuff like that? Yeah.
Jury trials must be in person.
I have to physically go. I've been given dates. I've been told my work. I have to tell my employer, because I could be there for a long time.
Witnessing a murder. I'm a witness.
Sole witness.
A few days off.
The sole witness. And my fight. So for a little bit of backstory, I did a little bit of first responding back in my old days. So like I have some medical training, and in my training, my photo memory kicked in and I got the license plate of the car that drove away.
Oh wow! Is he allowed to talk about this, Rob? Or
no? I would sort of keep any details out of it because
that's what I was thinking.
It's okay. He does this for us like literally every day.
Shut it down.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
I'm just saying it's a crazy situation. Like
I was just gonna jump in and go maybe
I'll shut up.
You're welcome. Our lawyer's your lawyer. Once again, if you're looking for some legal help, if you are in trouble or you've got questions and you want to get your life back, give our friend Rob a call at Kivlaw Defense Lawyers, kivlaw.ca. How do you get your life back? Do you need criminal defense lawyers? Do you need help 24/7? This guy's the best, and he does it out of the kindness of his heart. Obviously, it's a job for him, but I've never been actually attached to a dude. I've never had I feel like we're life partners in a way where I'm like, hey, man, should I be doing this? You're like, why don't you shut the fuck up and not do that? That'd be great. Yeah. How about don't call me anymore, too? Thank you very much. Rob's that kind of guy. And you know what? I don't listen to anybody. Like, I listen to nobody. It's a problem that I have, but I do listen to Rob, and Rob is terrific. So make sure you give him a call.
When lawyers tell me to shut up, I shut up. That's kind of.
That's why when shit goes down with a network, he calls me and not you, Dean.
Yeah, I call. I'm like Ryan, and he's like, I'm on it. He's like, I'm already on it. Like,
Yeah, I'm on it.
Dean won't do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm busy. Right?
You can't tell him what to do.
Yeah.
Tell him to be here at 3. He's here at 3:30. You can't tell him what to do. It's like herding cats.
Busy. That's the problem. Is that I'm busy. I know we're all busy too. This has been a lot of fun just on Canada Day, kind of hanging out, having a good time, breaking down what we see in Ottawa. We're happy to bring you this stuff. Really grateful that Sheep King JB could join us. JB, thank you so much for doing this.
Man.
Please give him a follow on Twitch. Sheep King JB on Twitch. Am I correct? I got that one right?
It's Sheep King JB on all handles.
And his OnlyFans.
And OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Spicy Sheep King.
Yeah.
If you have an extra $5 a month and want to see a guy rip one, JB sure
Oh,
did.
wait. I'm not gonna give myself credit, but
He's doing it. Look at Kiv's doing it right now.
Oh yeah, he's
Look at him.
He's giving him $5 a month literally right now. See what you got. Hand to God, you just got a couple new subscribers. You're welcome, dude.
Hey, I'll take Adam's cut. I'll take the $4.25. Like,
Yeah. Oh, they take 75 cents a shot?
Yeah.
No pun
And
intended.
he's got a wrench. He's got an absolute hose.
Have you seen it? Did you see it?
Oh yeah.
Well, dude, no one
Good for you,
joins-
JB.
No
Good for you.
Careful,
buddy.
my mother might be watching. Don't show anything on this.
I won't.
We can't. We'll get cut too. We can't do that. But if this isn't selling your spicy JB OnlyFans, I don't know what is.
No,
Congratulations, dude, on the wrench. By the way,
Yeah, I'm like a new pony.
It does me well, and 9 times out of 10 I just lie there. Let's be honest. I just don't have to do much.
Good for you.
Dude,
Yeah, with that you don't.
No, you're a
That
stunt
weapon.
dick. Yeah, you're a
Stunt dick.
Follow Sheep King JB on all your socials, including TikTok. He's a brilliant young man, and he's going to be joining us next week for a bunch of shows as well. Scott Trades, Lachlan's at. Thanks for doing this, JB. Really appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
My friend Rob Kivlikin, folks, if you're looking for a great criminal defense attorney, and by the way, go and check out his Tamara Lish bail hearing stuff, because he made a great point. He goes, yeah, we can hate her, but she probably deserves to get out at some point, right? Which was fucking fascinating, because she got boned. Like, she can't get smokes until July 5th, Rob. Like, she got held over. You shocked about that right ahead of the convoy?
No, because they are, again, the Crown said full day. Like, the Crown requested a full day. At that point, like, when you're rearrested for breach, so what happens on your first arrest, you're held for bail. You go before a justice of the peace. So you're brought, and then they stand you up in court, and your lawyer will, if you have one, will present a bail plan for you. If the charges are serious enough, they'll warrant, let's say, a surety, which is somebody else who comes in. It's like being a public jailer. They will monitor you. They'll pledge a monetary sum as a means of enforcing, monitoring you. And if you breach, they might be forced to pay it through a streetment court. Most likely the accused will be forced to pay it if they breach. But if you actively help them evade, or if you lie to the cops for them, you'll be brought into that, into the sum to pay it. But so the point is it's called the ladder principle from this case called Antic, which is like the case for bail, right? At least a first release. It enshrines the ladder principle into law, meaning the lowest form of release possible is always the first one to go to. And then as they screw up further, you go up the ladder. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's say Tamara was released on a residential surety, meaning she had to live with her surety at an address approved of by the court and the police know about the address. They can do a bail check on you. And they do them depending on the jurisdiction. Like, if you live in a small jurisdiction, they got nothing to do, they'll come see you. In Toronto, they barely do them. Even for a murder, if you're out on bail for a murder, just because they're so busy in Toronto. At least that's my experience anyway with some of my clients. But if you're in like Georgetown, they're coming. They're going to come twice a week because they've got sweet F all else to do a lot of the time. And so, but when you're brought back to court, now let's say Tamara Litch, she'll be asked to, the plan of release will be more stringent. So they'll say house arrest, or they'll say a curfew. The next thing up the ladder, if it's just a residential surety, an increased quantum in the pledge. And what I would do, without any basis in fact, I don't have the facts in front of me. I don't have the case. I don't have what's called the adult charge screening form and the attached allegations. I don't have that information.
Oh, those old things.
Yeah. It's what they.
Dean and I already looked at them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah, don't worry about it.
It contains the allegations. So I don't know what she did or didn't do, or what she's alleged to have done. Remember, she's presumed to be innocent, even on her other charges.
Here's what she did. I got this for you. Here's what she did, folks. A little bonus time here. Consider this an encore, because we were going to hang up, and then he mentioned Tamara Litch, and I'm like, no, we're back into it. So Tamara Litch, here's what she did. She flouted the law. She basically said, fuck you, and went and hung out with all the people she was told not to go hang out with more than once. She did it like 3 or 4 times. And on the 4th time, it was her and this guy named Tom Marazzo, who's literally the head dickhead of the convoy bullshit. One of them. Yeah, and at this thing
a few times.
Oh, he's a fucking loser.
Yeah.
And then they went to this thing by the JCCF. Now, the JCCF is run by a hardcore anti-vax lawyer loser named Carpe. I don't know his first name, nor do I give a fuck. But they were using this because they wanted to increase her profile. Rex Murphy got a couple $1,000s for giving the keynote speech of the whole thing. But they literally kept inviting her to these things to interact with these people who she was told she was not allowed to interact with under any circumstances. And it's almost like, and did they do her? I guess. Like, because they could have picked her up like a few weeks ago, and they're like, let's pick her up the day before this whole fucking thing breaks. And it's a Canada-wide warrant, right? Like, Canada-wide warrants aren't fucking jokes, Robbie, right? Yeah, Canada-wide warrants are serious.
That's serious stuff. Canada-wide warrants are very, like, that's only for the most serious. I've only had 2 clients on Canada-wide warrants.
Wow.
And that means wherever they pick you up, you could be in the Yukon, you're getting shipped back to Newfoundland. Like that, it's a great expense and
cost. Is it the government's cost, or is it the defense? Like, does the pay that in the end of the day?
That's taxpayer stuff.
Really?
That just comes out of police budgets. That comes out of DOJ budgets. I'm not exactly sure, but I know that side of things pays for it. We don't. And so like. She'll be brought before, and they're going to have because it's so high profile, there's going to be media in the courtroom. There's going to be because in Canada, outside of the Supreme Court, you can't have cameras in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be little sketch artists. Like if you look at my Twitter on the top, there's actually, I was doing the bail for a very high profile case. And that was like the picture was like the guy was, and he missed the bald spot too, which is great artist. Love that guy. The guy, I think it was for the Globe. The sketch artist for the Globe he's for the boys.
Is that you? Is that you on your profile in that picture? It's a cartoon of the back of your head with the beard. Is that it?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, fuck, they make you look like Jerry Butts, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I think I look great. He missed a bald spot, whatever.
I got it right here. Let's have a look at it. This is you in a sketch drawing. I'm happy I'm not in a police sketch, but I kind of always wanted to be in a police sketch.
And that's the accused in the background.
Yeah, that's the accused in the background, and that's you. No bald spot. Fuck, your hair looks incredible in a cartoon. I know.
Like no receding hairline. No. Great. That was at 1,000 Finch Courthouse. I remember that.
Congratulations. You look good in a sketch art.
I got the papers. Remember the papers he was referring to, Dean, that we looked at? It's here. This is me at my house with my smokes, enjoying my freedom. Rob, I read a really neat theory, and tell me if this is true, from a lawyer actually on Twitter that said that she could possibly argue the association condition because she was in presence of counsel. Is she allowed to be in presence or with those people in presence of counsel?
But it was all yes. And so let's say there's a domestic, and you cannot communicate with one another except through counsel. Mm-hmm. So they'll try and use me as the go-between when their relationship's failing, and I'm like, I can't manage my own relationships. Like, you don't want me to try and repair your marriage. You don't like.
So they can't. So would she get away with that? Because they're talking about that stupid JCCF function that she went and got her tinfoil medal from.
Because it's so obviously not her case related.
Right.
Like
she was accepting an award, right? She
That's
wasn't
tough.
there to discuss her legal with
the communication.
She was accepting an award from a bunch of lawyers, and like, if you wanted to measure what kind of lawyer chooses to side with and represent this group, holy fuck! Like, is it when you look at legal? Because I know you're not supposed to shit on other legal professionals, Rob. I know you're not.
Her lawyer, Eric Granger, is actually very good. He's an adjunct prof at U Ottawa common law. He teaches appellate advocacy. Like her criminal defense lawyer, Eric Granger, is actually very good. I've heard very good things about him. I don't know him. I've never met him. I didn't take his class when I was in law school, but I hear he's very good.
Yeah.
Not these clowns and for the JCC. I don't even know what the hell that is. It's a Calgary-based not-for-profit.
Somebody says it stands for Jackass Criminal Coddling Foundation.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I don't think that's accurate.
I dug into their corporate filing, and it's just a bunch of lawyers. It's just a bunch of lawyers. They have bars, like they're lawyers, right? But there's just one weird name that is not a lawyer that I can't find anything really tangible about. But it seems like just a bunch of lawyers who don't like getting needles. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know what their grief is, but that's what
I think it has to do with their Lord and Savior. More importantly, I think that's what.
That's
brings
probably
together.
more realistic.
Yeah, there were a lot of guys who, and I saw a comment. I have worked at the College Park Courthouse. I have been there, or in my early days when I was working for Edward Royal. But in Toronto, the College Park, that courthouse is a monument to despair. But I think when they started with these mandates and these shutdowns and the stay home orders, and rightfully so, in my opinion, there were some lawyers who stood up and went, hold on, we need to question this right now. Can the state do this? And that's a fair comment. I agree with that. Is this necessary? Can the state do this to private citizens? And we need healthy debate on issues like that for a vibrant and free democracy. It's us and journalists are the only civilized and effective check against the exercise of state power. You know, it's important work. And so there were guys who took on the unpopular cause, like Rocco Galati, who took the government to court. When he's a hell of a lawyer. Say what you want, he's a hell of a lawyer. And others, who, and I think that's appropriate to challenge. Can the state do this?
For sure.
I think it's always important to challenge when the state decides to be a little tougher, right? Like, I think it's always important to go through the process and figure it out. I mean, it's just this fucking no man's land, JB, right? When you think about it, that we've been kind of living in illegally, where we've seen these people get away with fucking basically murder over the past couple of years, which normal things Canadians would look at. Like, I looked at all these convoys and, the death threats. We got thousands of them over the past couple of years, all that stuff. And I'm like, generally speaking, this is usually dealt with in a court of law or through the legal process. But for whatever reason, it's been hands off. Maybe it's because Trudeau's a pussy. I don't know. But I know this is that I like seeing the rule of law applied to lawbreakers, where it has to do with people in reasonable limitations, right, JB? Like that I like seeing it. I like seeing control.
Well, I get death threats all the time. Like, given what I do and the content that I make, I get death threats all the time, and 99% of them are baseless, right? It's just some dude angry on his Instagram saying, like, I'm gonna fucking find you, right? Like, it's never anything more than that. But I did get one where we found out where I lived, which was concerning. And that's actually that one that I reported, and it's being dealt with, thankfully.
Good.
Right? But it's like, I get people are mad. I get people are upset. I get it. Trust me. I'm upset about it too. I am a victim of the pandemic. I lost my corporate job. I had a juicy office job where I was making decent money, and I lost it. But I didn't go to the streets and make a big deal about it, right? I packed up my bag and I said, okay, time to find my next chapter, right?
You adjusted.
And then I picked up my camera and started yelling at idiots on the internet. And now I make money doing that. So, hey,
you do it really well.
Yeah.
Sounded like you landed on your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, we go back to that same kind of thing all the time, right, Linz? Like we go back into trying to identify and explain who these people are. And JB put it well, like, you know, he didn't think that this happened to him. He thought it happened, and then he went out and took control of his life. Whereas people like us got busy creating networks and building up profiles and doing podcasts and bringing people together and trying to do something for the greater good. That served us well. These people did none of that, dude. They did none of that. They've been sitting there going, fuck, I hope we're right about all the shit we're fucking killing people over. This is going to be like bad if we're not. And now you're seeing it die and devolve into what it's become. It's like I don't think, and I don't know about you guys, and we talk about this from time to time, Kiv, Linz, we all talk about this from time to time, and I had a conversation with Doug Gilmore about this actually at the Joe Carter tournament. Sorry, Kiv should have invited. I know you did.
Yeah,
sorry for not inviting.
I also, my mom's
biggest
really
FOMO.
good friends with Dougie. Like
your mom's best friends with Dougie?
Not best friends. So my mom used to work in a place in Kingston where Dougie lives, and they were business partners. So if you said to Doug, "Do you know my mom's name?" and he would go, "Absolutely, I know who that is."
Yeah. So we're talking about
dude. Very good dude.
He's a great guy, and you never know anybody's politics, right? And in the last 2 years, like I haven't seen Doug for a few years, and so I see him, and you never know what someone is or isn't. Like, you know, do you believe in this shit? Do you not believe in this shit? Are you vaccinated? You're not vaccinated? And we sat and had a legitimate conversation prior to actually doing the interview, where we were talking about our family members that were or were not vaccinated and the trouble that it caused, right? Like the different things that we've gone through and trying to fucking figure out how family works. And then he said something interesting. He's like, I don't know. He goes, dude, can you be friends with any of those people that you've been friends with for a long period of time, where, you know, they got these weird thoughts? And I'm like, I can't. It has been one of the greatest separators of terrible inputs into my life, because if you think about it, and I don't know about you dudes, but if you think about it, the people that believe in that stuff, who you've just kind of gravitated away from because it's just too fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they've kind of done us all a favor, right? And
they opened that.
Like, dude, they did us a fucking favor.
Yeah, they opened that curtain. They opened that curtain and let you see that maybe something that has been in there that drives some shit. And I think you're right. They've done us a favor and not even known it.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend who was a prominent bartender in downtown Toronto. She was somebody that I hung out with personally, like a lot of times, and then the pandemic hit, and it spiraled her down. First, she started ranting me about 5G towers, and I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? Like, you're venturing down a path that's dangerous. And then I literally watched her on Facebook and socials venture down this path, and now she's got that PPC purple banner, and is marching with Bernier. And when I was watching the convoy in February, one of the things that I was looking for is this person that was a friend that I've had in my house to be there, right? And it's like, I hope she's not there. I hope she's smarter than that. Thanks. And I have to talk to her since it people on that spiral. I'll talk about the pipeline, right? They get down that pipeline and they get stuck in it, and then you can't turn around in it. You just got to keep going down it, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
Crazy.
Well, it was fun to watch again this weekend, gentlemen. That was a lot of fun. Happy Canada Day to you. Happy Canada Day, Rob Kivlikin.
I was on Canada Day last year too.
Were you really on the show?
Yeah, we were talking about what a cock Trudeau is with First Nations people, and do you remember the whole
the residential schools?
He was taking pictures at the graves, and photo op moments. Yeah, with an absolute dipshit.
There's a reason I'm wearing an orange shirt today, right? Like,
thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people have commented on the orange shirt as well.
Funny, that's why I switched to an orange drink.
But appreciate you guys doing this. Thanks, Rob. Make sure that if you're looking for legal defense help and you need a good one, Rob is the best. Not only can you get him on Twitter at @rkivlaw, but go to his website, kivlaw.ca. Defense lawyers, top criminal defense lawyers in Toronto. There are partners here at DeanBlundell.com and the Dean Blundell Show, and they should be your partners too. If you want to speak to a lawyer now, get in touch with Rob and his crew down at kivlaw.ca. Thanks, Rob. JB, thanks. I know we did your outro, but listen, always JB, Sheep King JB, everywhere, every socials. If it's Twitch, if it's YouTube, whatever. Sheep King JB, follow him where you can. He's a beauty. Appreciate you doing this, dude. Enjoy the rest of your Canada Day as well.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, man. Talk to you soon.
Peace out, boys.
Peace out, dog. Thanks, dude. You're just gonna have one more smoke before you go?
I was just gonna say before we go, I just want to give a very warm and happy Canada Day welcome to Pat King and Tamara Litch as I light this dart.
They can't get
and
smokes.
freely smoke it because I don't think they can get any darts right now.
It's a dart-free environment for them.
Sorry
in
about
prison.
that.
Yeah.
And my alcoholic beverage. It's not Tang. I know it looks like jail Tang, but it's not. It's
Jail
actually
Tang.
jail Tang and some darts.
What are you doing today with your non-incarcerated time?
I'm gonna cook. Actually, I made a really cool French onion soup from scratch. I'm gonna do a write-up on that. If you want to learn how to do that, I'm gonna teach you how to do it. And tomorrow we're gonna smoke something on the barbecue because it's gonna be gorgeous out tomorrow.
Yeah.
The rain was kind of iffy today, so I didn't want to do it today. But tomorrow, and everything's going to be up on deanblundell.com. If you want to come and follow, we make some jokes, we show you recipes, and you don't have to listen to my entire childhood trauma story just to get to the recipe when we give you one here. So you're going to enjoy it.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do the childhood trauma.
Annoying.
I was actually Googling a recipe for Korean beef stir fry yesterday.
Oh.
And the Korean beef stir fry recipe had a 2-page long thing about how. Is this a thing in recipes now? Because I'm a big recipe. It was a 2-page long dissertation about how her uncle used to make this for her back before he died of some terrible monkeypox infection, and how they used to go boating with
dinner.
monkeypox all the time. And the one thing she remembers about her monkeypoxed uncle was he would make this delicious stir fry. And I'm like, none of that's true.
Now I don't want to eat. Can I give you a quick tip on Korean beef if you're going to do it?
Sure.
Really quick, I promise. Grated Asian pear actually has an enzyme that makes your beef tender. And if you marinate it for 4 hours in Asian pear, that white pear, you grate it up and like shred it and like just let the beef soak in it for about 4 hours. It actually has an enzyme that breaks down the connective tissue and the collagen inside the beef. It'll make it really tender and sweet.
Okay. Well, dude,
love it.
There you go. Pears, who'd have thought? Appreciate you doing this. Thanks, buddy.
Pineapple does it too. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, man. No, we won't.
Tomorrow's Saturday. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you Monday.
Right. Have a great weekend.
Fuck, I'm not doing that show tomorrow. You nuts. You too,
Well,
bro.
what
We'll
about the
talk to you soon.
convoy? What if it's really good? What if Karima calls?
It won't. You're going to have a bunch of drunk guys go fucking ham tonight and run around and get arrested for pissing on things. And like, it literally is over. Like, it is just arrest city there. They're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
That's enough.
I think you're right.
Go fucking home. And I was happy to watch it today. So I appreciate you doing that and documenting it with me. Appreciate it.
All
Thanks,
right, pal.
Talk
Ciao.
to you soon. Ryan Lindley. Ryan Lindley. Ryan Lindley. That's it for us. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Taking time with us on this Friday. Canada Day, beautiful Canada Day. Can I say this about this country? I am a Canadian. Very proud to live in this country. Very, very proud. I've got neighbors on both sides of me, both not Canadian. Doesn't matter where they're from. And in one backyard, they're celebrating Canada Day with streamers. These people are not from this country. And music in the background, and they're having a barbecue, and they've got Canadian music going. I don't hear a lick of English in that backyard. And it fucking made me so happy. Then on the other side, they're also doing a Canada Day party. I'm surprised you can't hear it. I can kind of hear it now. They also do not speak English because they are not from this country. And and I'm doing nothing. No party, no streamers, no flags, no celebratory this. Might do some fireworks later with some friends because we got a whole bunch of illegal fireworks, which you're going to light up. But if you wanted to know how grateful people from other countries are to come here, go to my Twitter feed because I'm going to put some pictures of it on @itsdeanblundell.com. Sorry, @itsdeanblundell on Twitter. Because they're more Canadian than I am. They're more Canadian than a lot of us are. Some of the people that have come to this country because they need to get away from real tyranny. They need to get away from having their asses kicked. They need to get away from hunger. They need to get away from political oppression, physical oppression, gender oppression, sexual oppression. So they come to Canada. And on both sides of me, house on the right, house on the left, we've got legitimate immigrants from other parts of the world singing and dancing in their backyard that they're here. That they're here. Seriously. What a fucking eye-opener that was for me today. Because in Ottawa, we've got the guy that wants to lead this country leading people who hate this country on a march to hurt this country. Seriously. And in my backyard, there's spillover from a party of people who are so fucking happy to be here that they're cooking as much Canadian food, celebrating with Canadian music, all wearing red and white, and none of them are from here because they know the difference. They know what it's like to not be free. They know what it's like to not have a place to live where you can be proud of the people that you live with and next to. Didn't have their own house, didn't have the ability to go to the store, didn't have the ability to live free. We do here in this country. And on this Canada Day, I want to thank my immigrant neighbors for teaching me how to be grateful to live here. And I would encourage you to feel the same thing. And if you don't, no one gives a fuck. Have a great day. See you tomorrow on this Monday on this very program. Don't forget to sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com. And follow us on socials. Apple, Google, Spotify, etc. Download. Also YouTube. You can follow this and see this actual podcast on YouTube, Dean Blundell Show, Twitch, Dean Blundell TV. Thanks to JB. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to Rob. Thanks to Karima. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy Canada Day.